Good morning, everybody. So today we're going to look at resource modeling across your portfolio. My name is Chris Pond. I've worked for TPG out of the UK, and I've been deploying PPM-type solutions for about 15 years. And Stefan here is our product manager for the product we're going to look at today as well. So we have 20 minutes to get through this. If you have any questions, we'll take those at the end, if that's all right with everybody. Good stuff. I can't really see so much here, but how many of you use Project Server at the moment? Okay, 2010 or 2013? Yeah, okay, that's good. Are any of you using the PPM capabilities, as in terms of selection and prioritization capabilities? 1, 2, 3, 2. Okay, so some people are. So the point of today is that we're not looking to replace that capability, because that's really around alignment of projects to business strategies and helping us choose which projects we should do against cost and other constraints, and obviously our resources as well. What we're looking to do is more operational type stuff, but you could use it instead of the PPM capabilities in Project Server if you wanted to as well. So the key thing here is we're using the capabilities of Project on the desktop to take multiple projects out of Project Server and potentially other SQL data sources as well, because quite often people will have ideas for projects that are stored away in, say, a SharePoint list or an Excel database, something like that. Excel database? Oh, yeah. People use Excel like a database. That's probably half its issue, in fact. So in this particular case, we're going to pull some of our projects through here, current projects, new projects, and then we can start to look at work and cost items and start to understand what the impact of change is on our portfolio as well. So like I was saying earlier, you've got Project Server, you've got the resource center view, obviously, which gives us some histogram type views against what people are planning to work on, what they are working on as well. And obviously, we can look at multiple projects at the same time by opening all those projects up in Microsoft Project as well. So what we're looking to do with Portfolio Planner is to provide us with a better aggregated view. So we have like 1 bar per project, which is kind of simple for people to look at. We can drag and drop the tasks around to see what the impact is on our resources and costs as well in real time. We can see that visibility. And again, we can then start to create various different views to look at that in various different ways. So we can drill down into the detail if we wanted to as well. And we get these simulations available to us whenever. So it's also available offline. Because we take the data into Project, we're storing it with an MPP file. If you wanted to pull all that data out, working out when you're on the train or the plane or something like that, you could certainly do that as well. So as I said, consolidated views of your projects, resource histograms. We can look at new and current projects. We can drop projects in to the project schedule as well immediately. The data can come from not just Project Server, but other places as well. And we get all these various different views available to us. And like I said, it's available offline. So we're going to look at 4 scenarios briefly today. What happens if we postpone a project, deactivate a project, adjust resource availability, and also cost and budget views as well. So in the first scenario, we've got multiple projects. We've pulled them into Project Professional. And we can see our running projects. They're in the kind of darker colors at the bottom there for our departments. That's just the grouping we've chosen for this review. And then we pull some new projects in, and we can start to see those are causing an overload as well. So they have a slightly lighter color. So again, we can choose what colors we have here. And then what happens if we slip a new project to the right? Yeah, we can actually see what happens to our resources at that particular point, and we can start to make decisions about when we're going to execute those projects as well. In scenario 2, very similar. I've got all my projects. We're going to look at running projects. We're also going to look at our new projects. And we're just going to use the standard functionality in Project to actually just deactivate a project. I clicked there a bit fast. There we go. So we can see that. We're going to deactivate Project C. And what we'll actually see is what impact that has on those resources at that particular point as well. Now, obviously, the best piece here is that we can actually adjust resource availability as well. So with the same type of view. And what we're going to do this time is just increase the amount of resource availability we have for a short period of time as well. Now, obviously, this doesn't take into account the time it takes to actually hire those people and get them trained up. But we can see, for example, again, on the departments, we're just going to increase the amount of availability we have in August and September to see what impact that would have. And again, immediately we can see how that impacts our ability to actually execute that work. And in the final scenario, it's the same data. We're just looking at it from a cost and budget perspective. So we're using the budget facilities in Microsoft Project, and then the cost information is coming through from our resources, and we're comparing those two as well. So this time we've got external costs and internal costs, and obviously we've got a big lump of budget that we can then compare against as well, and see what impact moving or deactivating projects would have on our project portfolio as well. So we're not just talking about resources in terms of availability and hours, but also their costs as well. Okay, so I'm going to pass over to Stefan. He's the product manager for Portfolio Planner, and he's going to give you a great overview of the tool set now as well. We'll have questions at the end, but sit back and relax, and I'll pass over to Stefan.
You're fast this morning.
Yeah.
Could you follow, or was it too fast for you? Excuse me. So maybe 2 words about me. I'm also working in the project consulting business since 1996, and I'm with TPG, or a former company, since '98. And one word about our products: they are all more or less coming from use cases or requests we got from our customers. And first we started doing proprietary programming and VBA and things like that. And after a while we thought there are things which are feasible for everyone or for every usage. So we started to turn over these VBA programs into real generic tools. And Portfolio Planner is one of them. And one purpose is bridging gaps which are already in Project Server or in Project, and the other thing is we want to get sometimes things easier. And this is a very good example, Portfolio Planner, because if you think about some of you using the portfolio capabilities of Project Server, there is a lot of effort to set up this thing. You have to define your business drivers. You have to, there's a lot of things you have to do, which is obviously good, and we do not want to replace it. But what we find is that many customers we don't want to do all of this. We just want to have a playground where we can just easy drag and drop things and immediately see what happens without defining all these business things and so on. We are more operational orientated, and this is the reason why we developed Portfolio Planner. So what I'm going to show you is basically the scenarios which Christopher showed you on slides. I can show you that later on. I have prepared a project. So this project here is a project plan. It's a portfolio from Project Server. So we have 6 projects on Project Server, and they have resources assigned. And what we do, we aggregate each project to one bar. And we also aggregate resources to portfolio placeholder resources. And that can be done based on a department, based on a skill. This is totally configurable. Okay? In addition to that, we have also cost resources on at least one project. I kept it very small so that you can see how it works. In any time, we always look at aggregated data. So what we do in the background as well is we calculate a virtual capacity for these portfolio resources based on the real availability in the Project Server, coming from the real resources which are assigned to the projects, or which are in the resource pool. So We do have these projects here loaded, and now we want to see in our portfolio what is going on with my resource usage. In the moment, nothing Oh. Oh. Okay. No. What's going on here? It seems like everything is fine. Oh, yeah, my direct access is trying to connect. Maybe it was down. I will not hope that someone in Germany is working on the servers in the moment. Because for them it's night, and probably they think we can do everything. But no worries, I have a fallback. I have a local demo machine here, and we can use that one. Just a moment. It's running. Okay. Let's take that one. You always have to be prepared for accidents. Okay, let's see what we have here. Come on. It's a MS Project client add-in, a COM add-in, which lives within a project. Okay. Yeah, but usually we have our customers who are using it. They have usually 2 or 3 people who are working with it. It's most commonly people out of an PMO. Okay. What's going on here? Here we go. Open. I have a demo file here. All right. That's a little bit different test data, but we will see what we can do here. So I have a portfolio, I have new proposals, I have running projects, and I want to see what is happening to my resource allocation. So I load this, and as you can see, it's just one portfolio resource here. But you can see there are overloads from February on, and there are dark red and light red. So the light red comes from the new projects. It's a bit weird data. It doesn't make sense that new projects are before running projects, but anyway, you can see the idea at least. And if you move with the mouse over this graphic, you can see, okay, what is the overload from new projects? What's the overload from running projects? And you can also open the resource, and then you can see, okay, in monthly slices, in monthly slices, or you can also zoom in, zoom out. Sorry, it's German in the moment. But you can use it in English as well, so it refers to the language of the project client. You can see here, these are dark blue, these are the running projects, and these are the new projects. Now, the question is, and this is what we usually do, is, okay, we start and play around with our portfolio. So that means, okay, I have an issue from March on, more or less, and it comes from my new projects. So let's have a look, and here's PP test number 2. So what happens if I move that out into maybe September? And by just dragging it, you can use any kind of features which are available in Project Client. So we use the entire functionality of Project Client. And then you go into your Portfolio Planner's view, just refresh the screen, and you see all the new project assignments are moved out until September, and there is a little bit left in June and in July. This is about, from new projects, 190 and 94. So it's one resource less. So maybe move that out a little bit as well. And say, okay, refresh, which should more or less solve our overloads from running projects. So we still have overload from running projects. Sorry, before I solved the thing with new projects. Now we have this overload here from running projects. And as you can see, it's about 230 hours to 168 in May and June. So we probably will not deactivate projects. That's the thing what I wanted to show, but anyway, I do that later on. What about in May and June hiring people for maybe we have some documentation work, what we can give out to contractors or whatever. So let's go into the resource sheet and go to this portfolio resource, the developer. It's a bit slow today. And as you can see, we have developers for about a little bit more than 3 people. So what did I say? May and June? Yeah, right, May and June. So let's increase the availability of developers in June for about almost 1 person. And in June, we go up to 500. We just hire people. So, or give out contracts for something. And then, again, go to refresh. And you see we have almost solved everything. So this can be done, and usually you have a complex portfolio with many projects, with many resources, and you usually have one main issue. So the thing is always in this kind of looking for solutions that you, or these people who are working with that portfolio planner are usually PMO members, power users of project, and they prepare a decision for a steering board or something. So they play around with things, they save several MPP files, play around with it, and looking for some resolution. So at the end, they come up with a PowerPoint for the steering committee with some screenshots from here and say, okay, if we hire resources, we can solve our problems in that way. If we slip projects, if we delay projects, if we maybe switch off low priority projects, then we have this and this and this. And at the end, this is the basis for the steering board to decide what to do with the projects. That's the main idea. And what we usually have is about one customer. He's from the manufacturing side. They are building robots for the automotive industry. They have about, and they're using it in the R&D part. They have about a focus of 3 years with a little bit more than 50 portfolio resources representing 800 people, so 800 engineers and designers and so on, out of about 300 to 400 projects. Okay? So what happens is they have a steering board every 3 months, and this guy who's doing the work is usually collecting the data and preparing these meetings, these steering meetings, once every 3 months. Before he had that tool, that was his 3-month work to prepare this meeting. Because there were a lot of things he had to do. They had a mirrored project server site where they always mirrored their database, and he was playing there with the data, and he had to update it every time when he wants to have a new scenario and so on. So that was hell of a lot of work. We're preparing it maybe 6 weeks, building it another 6 weeks. Now he's doing the same work in 1 week for the steering board, and he has more accurate data because it's not more than 1 week old, the data he's using for his portfolios. So that's a massive impact for them, and they are really quite happy with it. Okay, I just wanted to show you another thing, and this is about deactivating projects. So we still have here something, and even it doesn't make much sense to deactivate a running project. I just want to show you what happens or how it works, because also we use here standard project functionality. We just deactivate that task, and that will take off the assignments of that project from the histogram. All right. I have to apologize. I do not have costs in here. So I cannot show you in my fallback scenario the cost thing. So I have to take it in words. What we do with costs is we just look at this in just from another perspective, because all the resources which are in the portfolio, they carry, if there are labor resources, they carry standard rates with them. Or if there are cost resources or material resources, they carry costs with them. We collect this as well, and we just switch the view to oversee the costs. And what we do in the portfolio is we are using budget resources based on a cost type. So every portfolio resource has a cost type, like cost type labor, cost type hardware, cost type software, something, whatever you want to. And we create budget resources in that portfolio. And these budget resources will be assigned to the project summary task, so to the entire portfolio. And this is the budget limit threshold. And we take that to draw the budget limit line, which is here the availability line, will then be the budget limit line. And we just run against this budget limit line the costs from the several cost types. Okay, so sorry for the wrong demo machine, but luckily I had another one. Basically, we are finished with our presentation, so we are now able to get questions, if there are some. No questions? Yeah. It's a normal COM add-in, and this COM add-in supports 3 versions, 2007, 2010, and 2013. And we usually, so in between, sometimes we have updates. It's a normal MSI, what you have to run to update it. and we always update it with the current project version. So with the next project version, we will have also a new version of Portfolio Planner. Usually we have no issues with the CUs. So far we haven't any issues with the CUs. But what we are doing is we are testing all our tools against every CU, seeing whether there are issues. And if you are a customer, you will get a note that there is a new update because of a CU you are having. So we usually inform our customers if there has to be an update or something. It's our product from TPG, the project group, so you have to purchase it over us. Yeah. That's quite quick. It's between 2 and 5 days, and then it's running. Okay. Any more questions? Yeah.
For setup, I mean, obviously there is the creation of the resources. Those are in the enterprise resource pool.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have to do anything to projects apart from creating the...
You need to add to the project server a handful of custom fields for resources and for projects. We can, for projects, we can also use existing custom fields. This is just to divide between new and running projects. This is something what we usually do with custom fields, and we use some custom fields for our resources, especially for the portfolio resources. We have to see which is a portfolio resource and which not. So one thing about installation, this product has a client add-in, and it has also a server component. Okay, it has a server component because we do requests against the project server. Okay, and there is a configuration tool as well, which usually lives on the server. Where we configure custom needs like colors and do you want to collect resources based on RBS or on skill or whatever. These are all configuration things we do there. Okay.
So we'll be at the stand, the big TPG stand, you probably see. So if you want to come and ask any questions there or look at it further, we can do that as well. And I just ask you to fill in your feedback forms as well from the session. That'll be really good as well. Okay.
Thank you very much for showing up. Have a nice rest of the conference and a safe trip back home.